K2 News, the station more and more people are watching.
On World News tonight, John Walker, who was found with the Taliban, comes home. ABC News has learned that his lawyer will contest the legality of his prison confession. Bad news for drug enforcement, Afghanistan is back in the opium business. The retirement deals for the Enron employees, why they belong in the outrage file. The microchip for the heart, it warns you if trouble is coming. We'll take a closer look. And now that the aircraft carrier is home, 76 fathers see their children for the very first time.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everyone. One of the most controversial figures in the Afghanistan war is back in the United States. John Walker arrived at Dulles Airport this evening in an Air Force transport plane. He was captured, as you know, with the Taliban. We wonder if he has any idea how much news he has generated here at home. He will appear in court tomorrow on charges that he conspired to kill Americans. The government has assigned one of its most able prosecutors to his case and would like to send the 20-year-old from California to prison for a very long time. It is a case which has no precedent. ABC's Jackie Judd is going to cover this trial for us and reports tonight from Washington. Jackie?
Peter, lawyers who have been hired by the family to represent Walker already are developing a strategy that would strike at the heart of the government's case. They hope to meet with Walker tonight before his courtroom appearance tomorrow. The courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia will be locked down tight as U.S. Marshals prepare for the possibility of protests against a man some people insist is the American Taliban.
We're dealing with all types of different security threats under consideration. Use your imagination. We are there. Walker
will be taken into courtroom 700 tomorrow morning. A lead prosecutor there, ABC News has learned, will be David Kelly, who won the convictions of the 1993 World Trade Center bombers. Walker will be asked if he understands the charges brought against him.
I was a student in Pakistan.
The charges are based almost entirely on Walker's own words to American interrogators overseas and to CNN. ABC News has learned that Walker's father has asked Virginia lawyer William Cummings to represent his son. Cummings, who helped represent the wife of convicted spy Alder James, has told ABC News he wants to get the confession thrown out because no lawyer was present and Walker was in no physical condition to understand what was happening. Cummings says if the statement disappears, the case disappears. The government would probably respond this way.
They're going to point to the fact that they gave him his Miranda rights, that Walker was advised that he had the right to remain silent. Walker was told that he could have a counsel present, and according to the affidavit from the FBI agent, he waived those rights.
Late today, Peter, the family lawyers accused the government of denying the young man access to legal representation. They say Walker's parents received a letter from him today saying, quote, "It is comforting to know that you have found a lawyer." The letter, they say, was dated January the 8th. That was a week before Walker was charged.
Many thanks, Jackie. Jackie Judd in Washington this evening. The Pentagon said today it's not going to transfer any more Afghan prisoners to Guantanamo Bay in Cuba for the moment because the naval facility there is not ready for any more. There are a lot of people asking what the U.S. intends to do with these prisoners. ABC's John Cochran joins us from Washington tonight to ask or answer, I hope, a couple of questions. John, there's a debate about how long they can be held without legal representation.
Right. How long can it go on? The United States officials say it could go on indefinitely as long as the war on terrorism goes on. They say the United States has the inherent right of self-protection. And just today, Peter, you had the White House saying these people at Guantanamo are suicidal killer terrorists. Of course, eventually, Peter, some of these people will be charged with serious crimes, and then they will get legal counsel.
And who legitimately charges them and decides what they'll be charged with?
Well, first, the Pentagon, and that's the job of Don Rumsfeld, must decide on these rules for military tribunals. But as you say, someone must decide what the charges will be, who will be charged. That person sits in the Oval Office. That's President Bush.
And ultimately, who decides what rights they have?
It may again be President Bush because the Supreme Court may have nothing to do with it. The World Court at The Hague may have nothing to do with it because it usually doesn't deal with these cases. The Supreme Court may have no power because these people are not on American soil. It's far from clear the Supreme Court has any jurisdiction over their rights. In fact, human rights organizations say that is why the United States sent them to Guantanamo Bay in the first place, to keep them out of the reach of federal courts.
In legal limbo. Many thanks, John Cochran in Washington tonight. Now we turn to the president and spending today. President Bush proposed today a $48 billion increase in defense spending. It is the biggest increase in 20 years. The money he wants, he would like to have pay for new precision weapon systems, military salaries, and missile defense. ABC's Terry Moran is at the White House. That was the good news from his point of view, but he didn't have all good news today, Terry.
He didn't, Peter. The immediate problem is there's been a real downturn in the state of the government's finances. 1 year ago, the Congressional Budget Office estimated the government had run a $300 billion surplus this year. Today, that same office estimated there'd be a deficit of $21 billion. That's not even including the economic stimulus package. And they identified 3 reasons for the deterioration: the war, the recession, and the president's tax cut. Budgetary constraints were clearly on the president's mind today when he announced the new military spending.
Buying these tools may put a strain on the budget, but we will not cut corners when it comes to the defense of our great land.
That will prove a lot more difficult in the coming years. The long-term budget picture has dramatically worsened. The Congressional Budget Office announced today that the 10-year budget surplus has plummeted from an estimated $5.6 trillion to $1.6 trillion, a huge loss of $4 trillion. The biggest factor in the decline, last summer's $1.3 trillion tax cut. Democrats pounced on the new numbers and laid the blame squarely on Mr. Bush.
He told us that we could have a massive tax cut that he proposed. Unfortunately, he was wrong, and he was wrong by a country mile.
But the White House maintains that the tax cut was designed in part to keep spending under control.
The president's fear has always been that in the town of Washington, D.C., if the politicians get their hands on the money, they're going to spend it.
But President Bush wants to spend money, too, on Homeland Defense, Medicare reform, a prescription drug benefit, and Social Security reform. Democrats say the country can't afford all that, plus the full tax cut. And while there are some Democrats calling for repeal of part of that tax cut, Peter, the Democratic leadership has a different and simpler strategy. They're going to sit back, wait, and let President Bush make the hard choices to try to square this budget circle.
Thank you, Terry. Terry Moran at the White House tonight. The FBI Director, Robert Mueller, showed up in Afghanistan today. And while he was there, he said information gathered from al-Qaeda prisoners had prevented a number of terrorist actions elsewhere in the world, though there were no specifics. One of the other issues for the U.S. in Afghanistan is whether the country gets back into the drug trade. ABC's Bob Woodruff reports tonight from Kandahar.
These are the fields that are making U.S. drug officials nervous. The opium poppies, once banned by the Taliban, are back.
Is this all opium that we see, the brown area?
Musa John planted wheat last year out of fear that the Taliban would beat him. But 2 months ago, as the Taliban collapsed, he switched to opium. It is the raw material for heroin and a crop 20 times more profitable than wheat, the only one that can feed his family. Growing opium is hard work, he says, but I have no options. In 2 months, these tiny sprouts will look like this, and Afghanistan could once again become the supplier of 75% of the world's opium and heroin. Under international pressure, the new Afghan government has banned the production and sale of opium, but in Kandahar's bazaars, no one seems to care. There it is, 20-pound bags sold right out in the open for about $400 a pound. In this destroyed economy, the police don't have the money or the will to stop it. And we won't stop selling it, this man said, until America helps us. There's no other business for us to do.
No one knows just how much raw opium is already hidden away in the bazaars and warehouses of Afghanistan. But UN drug officials say in the past several weeks, much of it has been smuggled out of this country because traffickers fear it could soon be destroyed by the new government or U.S. bombs.
2 weeks ago, Pakistani police caught 4 Iranian men smuggling $500 million of opium and heroin out of Afghanistan, the biggest drug seizure in this country's history. Before it was banned by the Taliban, Afghanistan produced almost 5,000 tons of opium a year. And now the plants and the problems are growing again. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Kandahar.
Other items in the overseas briefing today. The police in India say they have charged 6 people with the attack on the American Cultural Center in Calcutta. They include 3 Indian teachers at an Islamic school. 4 policemen outside the center were killed. U.S. planes bombed anti-aircraft installations in southern Iraq today for the 2nd time in a week. The U.S. says it is because planes patrolling the no-fly zone were fired at by the Iraqis. And in the Congo, aid workers distributed food to thousands of people in Goma who have had little to eat since the nearby volcano erupted last week. There have been several aftershocks which have simply made a bad situation much worse. When we come back, the checks that were promised that never came. The Enron workers in the outrage file tonight. Putting a microchip in the human heart, which will know when a patient needs help. Medicine on the cutting edge.
It is exactly an early warning system which allows patients to keep control of their lives and their health and spend less time in the hospitalized setting.
And 76 new fathers. The sailors are home.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Gateway.
Okay, you there?
I'm here.
What's up?
Bargains, Teddy, bargains. I figured out a way to give people a computer complete with monitor, a CD burner, and a 20-gig hard drive, all for $5.99.
Awesome. Hey, Joe, we've got company.
Mr. Wade, may I recommend the beef fillet today?
Just a salad, please.
When I brought Alice home, Ralph and Ed weren't exactly thrilled. Purina Cat Chow brand understood. They have mentors whose insights bring everybody closer together.
Physical, emotional, complete. At any age, that's the Purina Cat Chow way of life.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
Tomorrow on AM Northwest.
Turn your bad luck to big bucks the feng shui way.
And we cross swords and get to the point with the dueling hunks of the Count of Monte Cristo.
Not a saint.
Watch tomorrow on AM Northwest.
The accounting executive from the accounting firm who ordered the shredding of Enron documents will be called before a committee of the Congress tomorrow, and he is going to plead the Fifth Amendment to avoid incriminating himself. His lawyer says he has not had time to prepare. When Enron laid off 4,500 employees last month, it promised hundreds of them severance pay. The workers are still waiting for the money, and their case is in the outrage file tonight. Here's ABC's Linda Douglas.
Orlando Puig has put his dream house up for sale. He can't afford it anymore, not since Enron failed to pay the severance that was promised him when he was laid off.
Of course, I don't have any money for anything other than the bare necessities, and I'm not sure exactly how long that will last.
Puig and many others were let go 2 weeks before Enron declared bankruptcy. The company said it was restructuring. Puig was told he could collect roughly $22,000 in severance, or he could get twice that amount in a month if he promised not to sue Enron. Puig decided to go for more money. Then Enron collapsed. The check never came.
I expected the severance, which was about $53,000 in total. That would be paid out over a 4-month period. They've paid 0 of that amount.
Not only that, Puig is stuck with the bill for the company American Express card that he used for business expenses, $9,000. Enron won't pay that either. Johnny Williams was laid off, too. She thinks Enron officials tricked employees into taking the more generous severance deal.
I have to believe that they knew that they were going to file for bankruptcy and that they knew that they would in no way honor the contract.
Enron owes Williams $50,000. She does not think she will ever see that money.
I'd like to stay in the energy industry. I'd like to stay in Houston.
She compares notes with others who are looking for work. Puig is trying to find a job online. He still can't believe what happened to the company he trusted so much.
How they can so quickly go from being one that is known for treating its employees so well to treating its employees so poorly.
The plight of the employees and stockholders is what has made Enron the #1 issue on Capitol Hill. Enron and its accountant Arthur Andersen used to have the ear of Congress. But now, with hearings beginning tomorrow, they don't seem to have many friends left. Linda Douglas, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
In the national briefing tonight, the Director of Homeland Security, Tom Ridge, told 300 mayors today that the federal government will help pay their extra security costs. The mayors who have been meeting in Washington say that the cities will need an extra $2.5 billion this year. Hard to tell if it's a reasonable or accurate figure. The government has doubled the reward in the anthrax investigation, $2.5 million now for information leading to the arrest of whomever sent the anthrax letters. The Justice Department is also mailing 500,000 letters to residents of New Jersey and Pennsylvania asking for any information that might be a lead. And President Bush has appointed a chairman to his AIDS Advisory Council who questions the role that condoms should play in preventing the disease. Former Representative Tom Coburn says that as a policy, abstinence should be promoted instead of condoms. When we come back, a microchip for the heart, a closer look at a new early warning system.
Now, the same Caltrate that helps fight bone loss may help your colon too. In a recent study, Caltrate helped reduce the risk of recurrence of colon polyps, a risk factor for colon cancer. The same Caltrate you take for your bones, now for colon health too.
Reading to the kids at the library is the highlight of Fred's week. But some days, his COPD keeps him from being there. Chronic bronchitis or emphysema associated with COPD can keep you from doing simple things.
But now taking Ceravent helps me take fuller breaths.
Nothing can reverse COPD, but taking Ceravent twice a day can help improve your lung function around the clock. Ceravent should not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms or be taken more than twice a day. Some people may experience increased blood pressure, heart rate, or changes in heart rhythm. Ceravent is a prescription medicine and may not be right for everyone. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure, or take MAOIs or tricyclic antidepressants. Ask your doctor if Ceravent is right for you.
And start taking fuller breaths.
When diet and exercise fail, adding Lipitor can help lower your total cholesterol 29 to 45%. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease or possible liver problems, and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of serious side effects. 1 in 5 people has high cholesterol. Millions need treatment. For less cholesterol, ask your doctor if Lipitor is right for you.
Low interest or high pollen? If you're one of millions who suffer from seasonal allergies, you may need Allegra. Only Allegra has fexofenadine, an exclusive allergy-fighting ingredient that gives you long-lasting 24-hour relief without causing drowsiness. For people 12 and older, side effects are low and may include headache, cold, or back pain. Talk to your doctor today about allergies and free Allegra samples. Once daily Allegra. Real relief for real living.
Last year, 2-year-old Paulie did what no one thought he could. He came back to life after nearly freezing to death. And tomorrow, Paulie celebrates his 3rd birthday on Good Morning America.
There was a meeting of heart specialists in Miami today which got our attention because one of the presentations to them involved a tiny microchip, which researchers say can be put into a person's body and warn someone with a heart condition that they may be about to have a bad event. 5 million Americans suffer from congestive heart failure. It kills 50,000 people a year, and it contributes to the death of 287,000 others. Reason to take a closer look. Here's ABC's John McKenzie with Medicine on the Cutting Edge.
Imagine the possibility. A paper-thin microchip that might one day help many Americans suffering from congestive heart failure. Patients such as Curtis Clement. Clement's heart muscle is too weak to pump properly. And even with the help of medication, he often becomes tired and short of breath.
In general, your life becomes rather miserable because you can't move around.
Big breath. Out.
The complications usually begin with a buildup of pressure inside the heart. And they could usually be avoided, doctors say, if there was some simple way of monitoring heart pressure.
If we can detect the higher pressure earlier, then we can adjust the medications and hopefully then keep the patients out of the hospital and feeling better.
Engineers had already developed a microchip to measure pressure inside jet engines when 2 years ago, a doctor at the Cleveland Clinic asked, why not adapt that technology to the heart?
This device was very elegant and simple and had no moving parts. So we thought that it would lend itself well to use inside the body.
To get it inside the body, the chip would be folded up and inserted into a small tube that runs from a vein in the neck into the chest. The chip would then be attached to the wall of the heart with a tiny screw.
The whole procedure would take only approximately 30 minutes and require no recovery time, and the patient would be able to go home the same day.
From then on, the patient would use this handheld device to activate the chip and record the results.
The patient can hold this in their hand, put it up to their chest, which will tell us exactly what the pressure in the heart is. There'll be a numerical display over here also. And the signal strength will tell you that you've got a good signal.
This new microchip has already been tested in the laboratory and in animals, and researchers say it has performed so well, they will begin testing it in patients this spring. Some researchers say the new technology might eventually be adapted to monitor not only pressure in the heart, but chemical and temperature changes in virtually any part of the body, detecting illnesses earlier with a microchip. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
When we come back, our final item in the broadcast this evening, the sailors come home, and many see their children for the first time.
It was my grandson's birthday. He just turned 3. We're going to move him out of his crib and buy him a big boy bed. I was on chemo then, and I was exhausted. I said to the doctor, I need help. I'm on a mission.
If you're a chemotherapy patient and feel tired and weak, you may be anemic. Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength.
Oh, this is a great one. This is a good one.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
How do you like it up here now? Good.
Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need.
See? What'd I tell you?
Your strength for living.
He takes a lot of energy, but I never get tired of him.
You know when you can't get over something traumatic from your past. You're unable to feel. You get overly startled and may have trouble sleeping. You may even feel like it's happening again. Your daily activities and relationships suffer. You know you just can't put it behind you. Now here's something you may not know. These are some symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, a serious medical condition affecting over 13 million Americans. While the cause is unknown, PTSD may be related to an imbalance of naturally occurring chemicals between nerve cells in the brain. Zoloft, a prescription medicine, works to correct this imbalance. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right. Only your doctor can diagnose this anxiety disorder. Zoloft is not for everyone. People taking medicines called MAOI shouldn't take Zoloft. Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness. Zoloft is not habit-forming. Talk to your doctor about Zoloft, the #1 prescribed brand of its kind. Zoloft. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right.
Nothing stirs you like the original. Dannon fruit on the bottom.
You train every day. You get better every day. You make us proud every day. Dannon passionately supports the winning spirit of the U.S. ski team. Look for specially marked packages to show your support.
Ultimate test.
Let's go, let's go.
Can you get the family dressed?
Which earrings?
And out of the house.
And what do you think you're wearing?
In time for the big wedding?
What are you doing back in the house?
Got hungry, so I made a tuna milk. New My Wife and Kids, followed by a new According to Jim, starting at 8, 7 Central, ABC tonight.
Are women who are already battered by their husbands being punished a second time? Is your state protecting or punishing abused women? Tomorrow, a special World News Tonight report.
Just a brief review of the main story today. The American John Walker has arrived back in the United States from Afghanistan. He arrived on an Air Force transport at Dulles Airport in Virginia. Tonight, he will appear in a Virginia court tomorrow on 4 charges, including one that he conspired to kill Americans. Finally, this evening, a homecoming of a much different order. In Bremerton, Washington today, the crew of the USS Carl Vinson, named incidentally for a congressman from Georgia, who served in the House of Representatives for almost 50 years, has arrived home from the Afghan campaign. Some homecoming particularly for 76 of the sailors. ABC's Neil Karlinski was there to see them arrive.
As the Carl Vinson steamed home, the group now known as the Babies of Bremerton made ready.
Told him Daddy's coming home and Daddy's going to be here for a while.
4.5-month-old Russell and 3-month-old Alexander joined all the others born while their fathers were at sea.
Hard, real hard. Almost like I'm pregnant all over again.
When the moment came, all the emotion of September 11th, of 7 months at sea, of giving birth without their husbands and boyfriends was overwhelming. Russell Pavlidakis finally met his father.
Oh, it feels great to be home. Yeah. All my kids got so big, I missed them. I got this child you haven't seen yet, and it's like a real Christmas present.
When the Carl Vinson left here July 23rd on routine duty, no one imagined what it would become a part of, or how the world would change. But as these sailors were at war, their babies were being born by the dozens back home.
Say hi, Daddy.
I think this is awesome. This is outstanding.
No amount of satellite hookups or photos could prepare these new dads. And even on this cold, rainy day, these new fathers and their families didn't mind a bit.
How you doing, big boy? Yeah.
Neil Karlinski, ABC News, Bremerton, Washington.
There you go, huh?
That is our report on World News Tonight. Later this evening, Nightline will air part 3 of its report from the Congo. And tomorrow on World News, the town in Wisconsin, which is rushing to supply the New York City Fire Department with fire trucks. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Tonight, no fuzzy faces, no disguises, nothing hidden. Young women spellbound, selling their bodies to bring this man money. But is there now a new way to stop men like him? Tonight, everything is revealed on 2020 Downtown.
Now on K2 News at 6:30. On this, his 28th birthday, Christian Longo learns he faces